Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. I'm Danny, your friendly neighborhood DIYer, and this is another episode of Homemade Home, a series where I make over my 150-year-old plus farmhouse into a home that I love. Today I am tackling an area that I have been, quite frankly, putting off for quite some time now. I just didn't know what I was gonna find. And that space is the stairway. It's carpeted and unfinished, and I'm just excited to tackle this area because I see it every day. I walk on it every day, and I just want it to feel beautiful and finished like the rest of my home. I honestly didn't know what would come of this video or what I would find under that carpet. Was it more lead, rotting boards? Uncovering the unknown can really go down a dark hole, as we've learned from the master bedroom after pulling up those floors. Yeah, a lot more work ended up having to go into it than I imagined. Oh no! So we're gonna take baby steps, my friends, and at least that's a step in the right direction. See what I did there? But before we step forward, let's step aside to thank the sponsor of today's episode, DESENIO. DESENIO offers trendy, high-quality prints and frames with its collection constantly updating. They believe that stylish wall art should be affordable to everyone, and I agree. What I enjoy most about their site was their gallery wall selection. Picking art is incredibly hard, especially when you kind of have an idea of what you want, but you're not sure how to group multiple photos together to make them work on a wall. DESENIO lets you scroll through pages of different gallery wall styles of predetermined pieces that work together, and it takes the stress away from it all. I can honestly say their site has something for everyone and every style. You can even pick the frames for each art piece right from the website, and it's a one-stop shop for all your artwork needs in your home. And I'm excited to collaborate with them because they have given me a 10% off discount code that you guys can use on top of their 30% off sale on prints right now. It is valid until April 6th, so go shop now. Later in the episode, I'm going to be sharing my selects from DESENIO, so stay tuned on that front. Also, if you're not already subscribed to this channel, guys, welcome. Join this wonderful DIY community. Hit that subscribe button. I am working so hard to hit 200,000. Maybe I've already made it. Then in that case, then woo! But if not, then help me reach 200,000. You guys are great. This is such a beautiful community of supportive DIYers, and come and join us. In the meantime, let's jump into this crazy stairway episode. Editor, roll the tape. Boop. Let's go back to looking at these before of the stairs where they started. DIY friends, it wasn't pretty. It honestly didn't help that I had to shoot this on a dark and cloudy day outside, so these stairs certainly have a spooky mood in these shots, but this is it, friends. These stairs came complete with a real dirty beige rug, old shiplap backing that has seen some better days, decorative wainscoting not secured well, and an unfinished top half because I've literally ripped out every piece of laminate flooring in my home, and now it's just been left like this. A sitting ledge for tools, paints, and all other things that don't have a home. You'll also see flooring from the master bedroom sticking out here. Oh, isn't that swell? Yeah, that's gonna get finished, I swear. We're just kind of going one room at a time here. What'd you say? Don't bark up the wrong tree? So I decided to make it easier for myself. I'm going to be cutting this storyline into two halves. The first half is going to be the stairs and the lower half and the little overhang. That's what we're focusing on in this episode. There will be a second episode. I don't know when that's going to be, but there will be a second episode that will focus on the upper area that kind of bleeds into the main upstairs passageway. So that'll all be one episode. The lower half is where the real work needed to be done. I mean, that was no stairway to heaven, if you ask me. So let's go and just get to day one. Good morning, DIY friends. So it is day one of stairway demo. Okay, I'm gonna restart that. Good morning, DIY friends. It is day one of stairway demo, and we're taking all the right steps to make sure this is a successful day. Boom! Oh, okay, this is gonna be a bad pun episode, forewarned. So I have my brother here with me today. Hello!
Hello.
We literally have no idea what we're doing. Neither of us have ever done a carpet pull-up construction in any way, shape, or form. I brought some tools out, got some crowbars, a knife to cut the carpet, some safety glasses, and some gloves. So all we really need is a can-do attitude, am I right?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I know. Please don't unsubscribe. You know who I feel like from Emperor's New Groove?
Oh, Yzma?
Yzma with the big goggles. I've always wanted to do that costume. This carpet's gotta go. It's gotta go.
I think that carpet's growing.
Oh.
Oh, more.
This might be easier than I thought it was.
You're doing great.
I'm super strong. Yeah, so pulling up that carpet was like pretty hunky-dory. I thought I was gonna struggle way more than I did.
All right. You want to tag out for this last bit?
Oh yeah, you want to pull?
Yeah.
You got this, bud. Scorpion's up there. Put. There you go. You work out? Oh, look at that! Stop it. Like one go. You would have had this whole stairway done in like a minute.
Probably.
Stop. Okay. Step off, brother. So the carpet removal went pretty well, but that was probably the easiest part of this process for the rest of the day. The underlay and basically everything moving forward was, well, you'll see.
So what are you taking off right now?
The underlay, but there's like, the old underlay was still there, and it's like made the stairway like hairy. Like
Hairy in a bad way?
There's like a fine layer of... After removing both layers of underlay, it was very clear to me that underneath it all was a beautiful lead-painted stairs. I shake my head right now because if you know the exhaustion that came from the floors, I mean...
Whoa, watch your hand!
So basically, I just knew I was not in for a good time. But moving past my general disappointment, Corbin and I tag-teamed the removal of any death traps on each step that was holding the carpet down. Where did you go, my lovely? Where did you go? I wanna know. Where did you go? Literally the first CD I ever owned. Boom, 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 boom. We spent a solid hour removing staples, and in that time I also put a layer of paint stripper on top of the stair because I wanted to see if it would just burn through the hair so we could just scrape it all off in one go. But yeah, I did a tester with the paint remover. You have to be really careful. You gotta wear a respirator, you gotta wear goggles. So it's just a lot, and proper gloves. But I did the first stair. This has removed a lot. Like all the fur is off. Getting it to this stage took 2 coats. It's just got layers and layers and layers and layers of paint, unfortunately. I don't even need to do a lead test to know that what I'm dealing with is lead. So I'm just gonna try to remove as much as possible. And then once I can get all that off, I'm gonna take the lead bond paint all the stairs, basically paint over top of it. So I think between the stripping away as much paint as I can, going with the Eco Bond, and removing any of the hazardous material in the lead, I think we've done as much as we possibly can. So after applying the paint stripper and scraping the first 2 stairs, it did end up being easier to just scrape the hair off the stairs first. So of course I just made my brother do it.
You always bring me on with the crappy stuff.
Yeah, last time I brought him on it was also crappy, so that's why you bring in family. They can't say no. It actually looks so much better now. I mean, it looks creepy, but it looks like you can see the stairs now. So yeah, basically at this point, we're just gonna start throwing some stripper down and start peeling off the stairs, and then we'll see what we come up with. Let's go give it a go. I gotta say though, between the shoddy shiplap on the walls and the stairs looking beat up, this stairway area looks straight out of an Evil Dead movie, if you ask me. I should also mention we removed the last step because the wood was decaying away and some weird shingle front. Not sure why it was there, but it just went away. Part 2. Yeah, lay it on thick.
That stuff smells amazing.
Oh yeah, boy.
The paint stripper had such a bad smell. If you're not wearing a mask, it will burn your sinuses, so the entire experience was not great. We could only work 2 stairs at a time so we could properly reach, but having to wait 15 minutes before you could begin was just a killer on time.
Now we wait 15 minutes before we start stripping. Ah!
When you scrape, I've learned you always want to scrape in the direction of the grain if you plan on saving any of the wood. I knew I was painting, so I really didn't care about saving the wood per se, but it was coming up pretty well. But oh boy, was that hard on the body. We both eventually got so tired we just wanted it over, so we did divvy up the stairs. I would do 2 at the top, Corbin would do 2 at the bottom with a stair in between us, but even then it was just brutal. The stairs are done. I mean, done in the sense that like we have literally scraped as much as possible off these stairs to a point where it's just like, you can't go any farther. So tomorrow, my dad is coming to help my brother and I. See you tomorrow. Day 2 was rough. I was in so much pain. Everything in my shoulder and my upper arm was destroyed. I didn't sleep a wink that night. Yeah, it was just not great. It was just not a great experience. To start the day before my dad got there, Corbin and I first removed all the wainscoting on the back wall. First thing on the DIY docket was drywall, but we basically had to rebuild all the framing in the walls, so we pulled all the original guts out and rebuilt the framing using 2x4 pieces of wood. From there, my dad decided to take it upon himself to rewire the switch at the bottom of the stairs, and we moved it to a more convenient spot, but he also made it sit tighter on the beam wall where the exposed beams were. I mean, I didn't ask him to do this, but it certainly was a bonus and he taught me something new. And once we finally got past that, we then decided that the overhang area above the landing didn't need to be there anymore, so we took that down too. Bye-bye, overhang. Sorry, Trilinda. We then just built a frame inside the open area of the wall, and finally it was time to start cutting drywall. I mean, finally! There's a lot of steps that have to go down before you can even put drywall onto a wall. It's ridiculous.
It's time for drywalling.
That was on the first take. That's pretty good.
What I do love about drywall is all you need to do is score a line where you want to break it and bam, it just breaks. It's pretty cool. And then you just secure it onto the wall with drywall screws and Bob's your uncle. While we watch this lovely montage of drywalling, I will say this because some of you will probably ask, why am I covering up that original shiplap behind? Honestly, I wasn't going to. My original plan was to only drywall the corner section and leave this part exposed, but to line up the drywall nicely to the shiplap, it would have required us to pull the shiplap up and line up the boards nicely. It would have been a mess. It was going to be a lot of work. And to be honest, I just really didn't care about the shiplap enough to go through that. I love my exposed beams, and I was happy to let the beams be the personality in the space and just let this back wall be on the back burner. Does that make sense? After the drywall was finished, we began to install a new step on the bottom stair. I got this stair refacing kit that includes a riser from Home Depot. So beautiful with the decorative detailing on the front. And basically we just had to rebuild the box that the step is going to sit on. To size the stair, we had to cut it at a 45-degree angle. And then you take the cutoff piece to create a flush corner. Cool, right? Then while my dad worked on the box for the stair, I got going on the drywall mudding, and at that point, it was a day. No one said owning a house was going to be easy, but boy, no one said it was going to be this hard on the body. Locked and loaded. I was pretty low energy and not feeling very motivated, but whenever I feel this way, I just put on my headphones, and it was really good to just do something very like one-noted, very mundane. It just kind of helps pick up my spirits again and helped me get through the day. I kept my task list this day pretty simple. First up, I had to sand all the drywall compound smooth. This is a relatively easy task if your shoulders aren't wishing that they would just fall off. But from there, I applied the second coat of mudding. There is a lot of technique to mudding I've learned over time, and you certainly get better at it the more that you do it. But I think I've officially moved from a beginner to somewhat of a novice, not an expert, but it wasn't too bad, I think. So we finally got to the part where we get to add the old Eco Bond to the stairs. By putting this Eco Bond down, we're just really making sure we're getting everything covered. Just doing our part. This stuff smells like the insides of a pumpkin, like pumpkin guts. Is that weird? Lead defender! I like that there's a little man on the front that he's like, I'm here to defend you against lead. Burr, 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 burr. Don't you stare at me like that. Between removing most of the lead with the paint stripper and now with the Eco Bond, I felt very confident that I had done all I could to remove and seal it. And I gotta say, I thought the white looked pretty cool. Hey Kenobi, don't look too comfy while I'm working over here, okay? You good? You need anything? Well, there we go. These stairs have been painted. But I do think that I am going to let this dry and do a second coat just to be safe. But it's kind of cool to see it in a different color because it kind of gives you an idea of what it's going to look like. You know what I mean? I love it. So basically at this point, we're just gonna wait for this to dry. We are so close. All right, I'll see you soon. Good morning, DIY friends. It's finally a sunny day and it's giving me life. Like I feel like Superman and the sun is just re-energizing me. The stairway, after 2 coats, is looking amazing. Now all these little spots that come through, that's the tannins in the wood. I did a lead test on this. It is good to go. I also popped in a plant because I love the long trailiness. I think it might live here. You, sir, can stay. We are going to be doing something very fancy with this wall, so I'm not going to give it away yet. But first things first, I need to sand down the last coat. Oh, it's an exciting day. Okay, let's go do it. I was in a super good mood this day. That sun just really picked up my spirits because I was just sanding and grooving to my music. I was just in a really happy place. It's where you want to be if you're going to be sanding a wall, folks. Just really boring stuff here. If only you could hear my music. I mean, that was a little much, but you just kind of have to learn to have fun sometimes. Once the sanding was done, I used the BEHR Drywall Plus primer. When you put drywall up, you can't just paint on top of that. You need to prime it first, so here we are. I also filled the stair gap with wood filler and caulked the gap and primed that stair as well. A good quality job is all in the details, my friends, all in the details. We're painting the stairs. Are you ready to see the color? We are going Broadway black. So sophisticated. This is the same color and paint I used in my bathroom, but the reason I'm using this on my stairs is because the paint, like a gloss, is built to take a lot of foot traffic and scuff. Beyond it being built to handle moist conditions, which doesn't really apply in this case, it's just a quality, tough paint that can handle a high traffic area like stairs. The paint does have a sheen to it, but not nearly as much as a gloss would, so I felt this was a good compromise. The paint went on so good and it just looked amazing, but it will need a second coat, which I will happily use a roller to do this, but that's for a later time. Okay, there it is, the final stairs. It does need a second coat, but it looks so good. I've had to barricade it so that Kenobi doesn't run up the stairs. This wall is going to have something very exciting done to it, so stay tuned. In the meantime, I'm gonna let this dry. I'm gonna do a second coat. By that time, it's probably gonna be tomorrow. So with that said, I'll see you tomorrow. It was finally time to tackle that accent wall, and I was excited. I actually spent the morning putting up all the trim on the wall and stair line, and it just looked so good. The vision was finally starting to come to life. But that back wall, I just really wanted to do something different with it, something unique, something that wasn't, you know, putting up shiplap or putting up some kind of wall trim detailing. So I wanted to come up with something interesting, something that would catch your eye, but not take away from what you really wanted to see in the living room, which was these beautiful beams. So I decided to embrace a more organic look, and we're going for a beautiful textured wall. Okay, I don't know why I clap, I'm like a cheerleader. Okay. What I have here is a drywall compound, and I have a lot of it, and I now have 3 colors. So I have my actual wall color, which is this Mourning Dove, and then I have 2 shades that are a different hue to kind of create a little bit of texture and a depth. I don't know, how many weird trendy words. So the 3 colors that I'm using is white flower, white mocha, and then my usual living room color, Mourning Dove. So I'm gonna start with Mourning Dove, and then I'm gonna move over to the white mocha, and then I'll move over to the white flower on the top. And we're just gonna basically do this beautiful textured wall. The stairs are narrow, so putting, you know, like a gallery wall on that wall just doesn't make any sense at all. It would just get knocked all the time. We bring laundry up that stairs. It wouldn't be functional. If you guys have other solutions, let me know in the comment section below, because obviously I love to share ideas and I love to hear your ideas, so let me know. But let's get making a textured wall. I can't get it open. Basically, you just add the compound to a bucket, add your desired paint, and using a paint mixing tool on your drill, you just want to mix the paint in the compound. I added a bit too much paint in the first pour. It should be way less soupy than this is, so just keep that in mind. You don't need a lot. And once you're happy with your mix, using a 6-inch drywall spatula, I just applied it to the wall. I realize this is probably really difficult to see, but once we get more layers going with this wall, you'll start to see the magic. I gotta say though, this is a really calming activity. It's a lot of fun to just smear something onto a wall in different directions. So after waiting 30 minutes for the first layer to harden up, I simply applied the same technique in a new bucket with a new color, and again just started smooshing the compound onto the wall. You basically just want to try and fill over areas you haven't done yet, but also kind of get over some of the existing color. This will really help create that textured organic look. And finally, I applied the last color, which was the lightest of all 3. Eventually, I just kind of started getting in some areas with my fingers and just filling in some blanks. And the technique that I found really good to make sure that the wall wasn't like crumbly was I took the spatula and I actually just started to flatten everything out once all 3 colors were on. It did kind of create a really cool look. It still looked really textured and it still had kind of like a layered look, but it just kind of flattened everything and really gave it a finished look. So highly recommend this. So I have a thought. This could literally ruin it, make it or break it, but we're gonna try it anyway. What I'm noticing is that obviously the drywall compound, because it is a white color, it's going to lighten it a little bit. So I thought we'll dry brush it. This is my palette. So I just basically take a fluffy brush, but I'm gonna remove as much paint as I can from it because I want as little as possible going onto the wall.
Just beat the devil out of it.
And then once I go to the wall, I'm basically just gonna push the paint in. And because this wall's not that big, I feel like we can kind of experiment a little bit more with it. So I got a different brush. This is more of like a stippling brush. It's actually like kind of leaving a little extra texture in the wall. So it almost kind of has like a rocky look. You can see some of the texture that it's leaving behind here. And here's a good one. Here's a good example. That makes it feel a little bit more natural and a little bit more earthy. It really did look like a lime washed wall when I was done with it. It's really cool, and I realized like something like this might not be everyone's cup of tea. Someone will look at that and be like, it just looks like a smushed mess all over the wall. In my space where I'm embracing a lot of natural and organic textures, this is a wall that worked really well. So moving on, I want to talk about the stair topper that was kind of on the railing. This used to be a MDF. I'll show you a picture so you can remember what it looks like. But I wanted to replace this. I wanted to go with something wood. My original plan was to actually paint it, but then after seeing that textured wall and it was all light, I figured we needed to go something a little bit warmer, so I decided to stain it. So on this prepped 1x8 board, I was applying the gel stain color Dark Walnut, and it was just so warm, so beautiful, so good. I mean, honestly, if I knew I was going to stain it, I might have chosen a maple or a oak board because I'm fancy like that, but pine is good too. I also stained the underside as that would be exposed on the stairs as well, and let that dry. Once it was dry, I used a stain finish, and after all that was said and done, I applied 3 coats of finish, giving the board a light sand between each coat. This was a high traffic area, so I needed to make sure the board was protected and easy to clean. Then as a final task to my day, I finally got the 2nd coat of paint on the stairs, and officially the light was at the end of the tunnel, my friends. Good morning, friends! So, are we seeing this beautiful textured wall behind you? Are you in love with it? Because I am. It looks so freaking cool. It's got this beautiful texture to it. It actually kind of looks like a cement or stone wall. And once we get this railing in, it's gonna change everything. So, this board. Okay. Oh, girl. Lex, stop teasing me. Oh, you look amazing. Safety check. Are you kidding me? My battery's dead. I just want to finish this project! Love it. Love it. Love it! Are you guys ready to see this whole space come together? So exciting! Okay. Okay, so now that the stairway is finally ready to be jazzed up a little, I can show off all the DESENIO prints that I picked and I'll be using in the stairway to really help personalize it to me. To moi. So for the top area on this long wall that isn't being made over yet, but I already knew I wanted art up there, so I picked these 3 beautiful abstract art pieces that I just love. I think they just evoke such a calming, earthy vibe that I'm trying to go for in my home, and I'm pairing them with these warm wood frames. I sourced these frames off of Amazon. One thing I should note is that if you live in Canada like moi, DESENIO only offers the magnetic frames for purchase, so I went with these warm wood options that I think pair very nicely with the prints. At the bottom of the stairs, I wanted to be a bit more playful, so I chose this adorable pencil sketch print called Fleurs Jolies, which means pretty flowers. I love the playfulness of it and the pop of color. It's just so my vibe, and I paired it with this beautiful brass frame I sourced off Amazon. Of course, if I'm ordering from DESENIO, your girl's clearly gonna order prints for other spaces, so let me share with you what I got. Here's a familiar one from my master bedroom makeover called the Stockholm Gallery Collection number 4. Again, much like the other flower one, it's playful and minimal but packs so much personality. I also got this adorable 8x11 peach print for my kitchen. How freaking cute is this? And last, I picked up this playful print for the studio space called Strong Together that hangs on this magnetic frame I got from DESENIO. Need I say more about this print? It just says it all. So as you can see from all of these options, you have such a wide variety to pick from that can suit your style in your home. So I finally got my beautiful Fleurs Jolies print up and it looked beautiful. I also purchased a new planter for my philodendron that was going to live on the ledge, but that meant I was plantless where it used to live on the shelf in my living room, so I bought this ivy for the shelf instead. I mean, if you move a plant, you have to replace the plant that you move, so it was only natural I had to buy another plant. But I did end up picking up an ivy. Had a really hard time keeping these suckers alive. So I did what any smart, nerdy person would do. I enlisted the help of these forest spirits to watch over my plants for me. If you know, you know. If you don't, this just looks really weird. And lastly, I wasn't sure if anyone was thinking this, but if you're worried about that drywall compound being dusty or messy on the wall, as you can see here, my hand is rubbing the wall and nothing is coming off. She is rock solid, baby. All right, are you ready to see this beautiful stairway all finished? Now, before we do, let's just remind ourselves where these stairs started, because she was not pretty. We had carpeted stairs, dank, horror movie style looking walls, and a big bulky overhang. My DIY friends, I give you the brand new stairwell in full. What a difference, am I right? This space just felt so bright and beautiful and felt like an extension of my living room. It was natural, simple, yet beautiful. Now, I probably will add a dark walnut colored railing to this stairway. I'm just looking for the right vintage handles to hold the bar and haven't found it yet, but I will, and hopefully it'll be there for part 2. So what did you think? Let me know in the comment section below. What was your favorite part? What would you have changed if you were doing this little stairway? And I have some thoughts. I'm thinking maybe like a little rug runner down the stairs might be quite nice. I don't know. I'd love to hear your thoughts. Also, a big shout out again to DESENIO for sponsoring this episode. Thank you so much for the beautiful prints, and a reminder to use my 10% discount code on top of the already 30% sale that is happening right now. It's available until April 6th, so go and buy some prints. As always, stay positive, stay creative, and keep on DIYing, my friends. Bye-bye.